This is news analysis coming to you live on Politics and Business Television Abuja. Good afternoon and many thanks for joining us. I am Omike Joseph Matthew. The headlines. Tinubu nominates Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance, redeploys Anite-Uzoka. Army deploys 170 forest guards to secure vulnerable KB communities. DSS arrests 5 security operatives over El-Rufai's controversial return from Egypt. And on the foreign scene, any Iran regime leader could be targeted for assassination. Thanks for staying with us. President Bola Tinubu has nominated the chairman of Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. Oyedele will replace Dr. Doris Anite-Uzoka, who had been redeployed to the Ministry of Budget and Economic Planning as Minister of State, marking her third portfolio in the administration. The president conveyed Oyedele's nomination economic planning as Minister of State, marking her third portfolio in the administration. The president conveyed Oyedele's nomination to the Senate for confirmation in a later address to Senate President Godswill Akpabio. According to a statement issued by his special advisor on information and strategy, Bayo Onanuga, Oyedele hails from Ikram in Akoko, Ondo State, and is an economist, accountant, and public policy expert. He led the comprehensive overhaul of Nigeria's tax system under the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms. As Minister of State for Finance, he is expected to drive the implementation of the reforms he championed, particularly as the government intensifies efforts to boost revenue generation and deepen economic restructuring. Dr. Anite-Uzoka, now redeployed to the Ministry of Budgets and National Planning, previously served as Minister of State for Industry, Trade, and the inauguration of Tinubu administration. The Department of State Services has arrested 5 security operatives in connection with events surrounding the return of former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai from Egypt on February 12, 2026. Those arrested include Ayuba Yakubu, an Assistant Superintendent of Police, Murtala Inuwa of the DSS, Najib Murtala of the Nigeria Immigration Service, Musa Damu of Aviation Security, and Salihu Victor of Aviation Authority. The arrests followed a joint investigation conducted by the DSS, the Nigeria Immigration Service, the Nigerian Customs Service, and the Federal Ministry of Aviation. The development comes amid a stored fundamentals, the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) and others at the Federal High Court in Abuja due to absence of counsel for the respondent. On February 12, DSS operatives reportedly attempted to arrest the former governor upon his arrival at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, but were unsuccessful. His spokesperson, Muyiwa Adike, alleged that security operatives seized El-Rufai's international passport after he declined to accompany them without a formal invitation. 3 days after the airport incident, El-Rufai honored an invitation by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and has since remained in ICPC custody following his release by the EFCC. Findings from the investigation made available by one of the agencies on Tuesday indicated that the arrested officers allegedly confessed to receiving bribes to facilitate unauthorized access to restricted areas of the airport and to obstruct lawful security operations. And now to security matters. The general officer commanding a division of the Nigerian Army and commander of Sector 2 of Operation Fasin Yama, Major General Begba Paul Kuna has operationalized the deployment of 170 forest guards in the Arewa local government area of Kebbi State. The move is part of a renewed effort to strengthen security across vulnerable communities in the region. At a ceremony on Tuesday at the headquarters in Kangiwa, Arewa local government area, Major General Okuna also donated key logistics items to support the guards who will operate under the supervision of the Nigerian Army. The support package includes 10 brand new motorcycles, 170 sleeping kits, and essential food supplies to improve mobility, welfare, and operational readiness in tackling terrorism, banditry, and other criminal activities across Kebbi and the wider Northwest region. Major General Akuna explained that the intervention is aimed at enhancing rapid response capabilities and sustaining field operations, particularly in remote forested areas often exploited by criminal elements. Representing Governor Nasir Idris, the Kebbi State Commissioner for Home Affairs and Internal Security, Haliru Aliyu Wasabu, commended the Nigerian Army for the timely intervention and strong collaboration with the state government. The deployment of the forest guards marks a significant step in a statement posted on his social media handle. Mbam acknowledged the weight of leadership and accepted responsibility for unmet expectations under his tenure. He reaffirmed his loyalty and accountability to the governor, describing Iwifuru as his leader and mentor. Mbam noted that the governor prioritizes performance in the Ministry of Works and that disciplinary measures, whether public or private, are aimed at strengthening governance and improving service delivery. The embattled commissioner expressed regret over what he described as perceived disappointments and assured the public that the recent developments would serve as built on existing strengths and ensure improved performance. Nigeria is grappling with a worsening Lassa fever outbreak, with new fatalities reported in Taraba, Benue, Plateau, and Edo states, among others. National data from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, indicates a steady rise in confirmed infections, raising concerns about the spread of disease across the country. Frontline health workers have been particularly affected, with multiple doctors and nurses contracting the virus while performing their duties. In Taraba State, the Federal Medical Center Jalingo has reported 35 deaths from Lassa fever in what officials describe as one of the most severe outbreaks in recent times. Laboratory tests confirmed 95 positive cases out of numerous suspected infections, with 20 patients successfully treated and discharged. Dr. Kerim, speaking on the outbreak, revealed that 3 hospital staff, a doctor, a nurse, and a driver contracted the virus, with the driver succumbing to the disease. He noted that the center is witnessing the highest number of suspected cases and fatalities in recent years. Benue State has also been heavily impacted, particularly among health personnel. The state government confirmed that 10 health workers have died due to infections linked to the outbreak, including 5 doctors, 4 nurses, 2 community health extension workers, and 1 hospital porter. Dr. Swega Asima, the state epidemiologist, said 45 cases were confirmed out of 250 suspected infections. The Commissioner for Health and Human Services, Dr. Paul Ejiobuche, stated that the outbreak was declared on February 3 and that containment measures, including the deployment of surveillance officers across all 23 local government areas, have been activated. At the Benue State University Teaching Hospital, 28 patients were admitted between January and February 2026, with 17 confirmed cases and 3 deaths. In Plateau State, authorities confirmed 4 deaths and 11 positive cases across 7 local government areas, while Edo State has formally declared an outbreak following a surge in confirmed cases. In Edo, 29 cases have been confirmed, with 6 deaths, particularly in Isako West and Ison West local government areas. According to Health Commissioner Dr. Cyril Oshomole, residents have been urged to maintain proper food storage, keep homes clean, avoid contact with rodents, and promptly report symptoms such as persistent fever, a sore throat, bleeding, and weakness to health authorities. You're still watching a news analysis right here on Politics and Business Television Abuja. And still to come, NAPTIP secures 14-year jail term for couple over baby factory in Ondo. Details of these and more after the break. Do stay. You're welcome back. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has secured a 14-year jail term for a couple, Abiodun Ogundeji and Happiness Ogundeji, for operating a baby factory in Olutitun, Okitipupa local government area of Ondo State. The Lagos Zonal Commander of the agency, Mrs. Comfort Tuboko, disclosed this during a press briefing at the agency's headquarters in Ikeja on Tuesday. She said the conviction followed an 11-year-old trial before the Federal High Court sitting in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Agboko explained that the case was initially referred to NAPTIP by the Nigerian Immigration Service in January 2014, prompting a detailed investigation. Preliminary findings revealed that the convicts operated the illegal baby factory at the country home located at number 10 Saraju Street, Olutitun. A search of the premises uncovered several items, including hospital cards, 8 cars with their keys, 2 bungalows, 4 million naira in cash found in the trunk of one of the vehicles, a poultry farm, and various domestic animals. She added that the agency obtained a court order on May 12, 2014 from the Federal High Court in Akure to seal and seize the properties. After years of prosecution, Justice F.A. Olubanjo found the defendants guilty on a 10-count charge bordering on unlawful detention of victims and deprivation of personal liberty, contrary to Section 19, subsection C of the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Law Enforcement and Administration Act 2003. The convicts, Ogudeji, Happiness Oyedele, and Prince Ogudeji Abiodun, were all Thursday, February 26, 2026, sentenced to 14 years imprisonment without an option of fine. The court also ordered the forfeiture of the 8 cars, 2 bungalows, and the 4 million naira recovered during the investigation to the federal government of Nigeria through NAPTIP as proceeds of crime. And now to the world of business. Stock markets across Asia were pummeled Wednesday as investors began panic selling on fears that the Israel-US war on Iran will fan inflation and hammer the global economy. The bloodshed's impact on markets was felt most in Seoul, where the Kospi tanked more than 12% as investors unwound their tech positions built up in recent months on the back of AI boom. The selling came as oil prices rallied more than 2% on the 5th day of attacks on the Islamic Republic, with observers warning that the choking of supplies from the Middle East could fan inflation and shatter hopes for more interest rate cuts. U.S. President Donald Trump pledged that if needed, the Navy would escort oil tankers through the Hormuz Strait, through which about a fifth of global oil supplies flow, and ordered Washington to provide insurance for shipping. On Wednesday, Iran's Revolutionary Guard said the route was under the complete control of Islamic Republic's Navy. The Iranian strikes on several neighbors threatened to broaden the conflict, while uncertainty about how long the war would take added to upward pressure on crude prices, with both main contracts climbing around 3% on Wednesday. And to the foreign scene, tensions across the Middle East have deepened following intensified military exchanges linked to the long-running rivalry between Israel and Iran. On Wednesday, Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz issued a stern warning amid at Iran-aligned leaders, declaring that anyone appointed by what he described as the Iranian regime to advance hostile operations against Israel, the United States, or regional allies could face targeted elimination. Writing on X, Katz said the warning formed part of Israel's broader security posture against Tehran's expanding strategic influence in the region. The latest escalation began on Saturday after coordinated air and missile strike by U.S. and Israeli forces targeted strategic government and military sites across Iran. Iranian state media and international outlets reported that Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was killed during the initial wave of attacks, alongside several senior Iranian officials. The development marked one of the most dramatic turning points in decades of hostility between the two adversaries. In the aftermath, Iran launched retaliatory strikes against Israeli territory as well as U.S. military bases in the Gulf and neighboring states, raising fears of a wider regional conflict. Amid the ongoing exchanges, Katz returned to X to reiterate his message, stressing that Israel's warning was not limited by geography or identity, but extended to any individual or group perceived as acting on Tehran's behalf. And now to the world of sports. Let's now join Sunday Abel.
Hello, welcome to P&B Sport News Update. I'm Abel Sunday. We start with the Super Falcons. Nigerians women have gained redemption in Yaoundé, beating Cameroon 3-1 in their second leg friendly. Goals from Chiwendu Ihezue, Rensula Babajide and Michel Alozie have the African champions looking sharp again. The Super Eagles World Cup hopes are still alive in the courtroom. Today marks exactly 100 days until the 2026 World Cup. Nigeria is still waiting on a FIFA verdict regarding DR Congo's alleged use of illegitimate players. If the ruling swings our way, we could be headed to the Intercontinental Playoffs this month. Over to Europe, and it was a night of shock in the Premier League. Liverpool Champions League hope took a massive hit, losing 2-1 to bottom of the table Wolves. A 94th minute winner from Andres stunned the Reds, despite Mo Salah finally ending his 10-game goal drought. In the NBA, the New York Knicks are officially rolling, Bruce dropping 29. Meanwhile, Victor Wembanyama led the Spurs to a 131-91 blowout of the 76ers, ending Phillips' night in Bulls. That's your P&B Sport News Update. I'm Abel Sunday. Stay tuned for more news analysis.
And with that, we wrap up today's program. But before we go, the headlines once more. Tinubu nominates Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance. Redeploys Anite-Uzoka. Army deploys 170 forest guards to secure vulnerable KB communities. DSS arrests 5 security operatives over El-Rufai's controversial return from Egypt. And on the foreign scene, we told you that Israel says any Iran regime leader could be targeted for assassination. For more updates and in-depth analysis, follow Politics and Business TV.English on YouTube and Facebook. Connect with us on Instagram at PNBTV_English and TikTok at PNBTV_English. Remember to subscribe and stay informed. I am Omike Joseph Matthew. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.